For years as a dancer, you get taught a lot of myths, I would say, about how the body works. So when I retired from dancing, I needed to figure out myself, like how to work out, what was true, what was fact versus fiction. Mirror was a full-length mirror. When off, it looked like a regular, beautiful piece of home decor. And then when it was on, you could see yourself reflected, a live instructor teaching you, and then all of your metrics.
Seems like if you have your heart set on something, you just tend to figure it out and do it. How do you choose the right quest?
You hit a personal problem that really pisses you off. Now with Board, my new company, it's very much about my family, my relationships. We were really struggling to find ways for everyone to connect. And so the thinking was like, can you take the feel and the togetherness of board games and mix it with the interactive magic of video games and create a really new way to play? We spent 2 years training a 24-inch touchscreen to do what no other touchscreen can do, which is recognize physical pieces, what the piece is, where it is on the board, and what it's doing in real time. It's exciting to put all this work into something and then finally get to share it.
Welcome to Grit. I'm Joubin, partner at Kleiner Perkins, a show where we go beyond the highlight reel and explore the personal and professional challenges of building history-making companies. Today on the show, we have Brynn Putnam, founder and CEO of Board, a new face-to-face game console. Before Board, Brynn founded Mirror, which she sold to Lulu for roughly $500 million, and before that, had an amazing career in the New York City Ballet. Enjoy the episode. It's funny, we have a lot of portfolio companies in New York that are doing quite well, but boy, is there a lot of action in San Francisco right now. Not even like the Bay, like in San Francisco.
Yeah, it does seem more alive. I was here March, I think I was last year. And since March even, it feels like it's really happening even more so. So no hate on San Francisco. I'm a New Yorker at heart. So.
All right. And how often do you get out here? Couple times a year?
No, I would say probably like once a quarter I'm out usually for something or other. Most of my family's here, ironically. My parents, my sister, my in-laws.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah. So everyone's here but me.
Do you feel like you fit in New York?
Yeah, I'm a New Yorker. I like I'm not laid back. I'm like pretty tough and intense. I like the intensity of New York.
A lot of people tell me that they think that I'm from New York.
Oh, it's a compliment.
I take it as a compliment. But every time I ask them why, they're like, because you're pretty intense.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
I think people are intense here, but it's sort of under the surface, whereas I think I'm more overtly intense. I think I fit better in New York.
What do you mean overtly intense?
I don't know. It's just like more direct and honest and fast moving, not sort of laid back intense, like more in your face intense.
Oh, yeah? And you've always been that way too?
Always, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess company building probably suits you then in that respect.
I guess so. You got to kind of be willing to like run up the hill a few times.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing it. Yeah, this is fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm actually sad that I've never gotten a chance to use your last product. My fiance is a fitness instructor.
Oh, I love that. What kind of fitness?
She teaches like HIIT classes.
Cool. That's my jam.
She's at Equinox.
Amazing.
And before you started Mirror, you started a workout studio?
Yeah.
That's
I ran bricks and mortar gyms. Yeah. HIIT studios.
HIIT studios?
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
No, we closed our gyms during COVID. They had been open for 10 years. They sort of kept running themselves effectively on the side while Mirror was going. And then when our leases were up, we closed them. So
okay,
2021.
So while there was two things were going together.
I had a team that sort of ran those once I moved into Mirror, but they were still operational.
And do you ever do the classes anymore?
No. Now I walk and run around after my kids. I'm very lazy.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And did you have Mirror in the studios?
We never had Mirror in the studios. But we always sort of like were headed in that direction. So the original piece of equipment was a wall-mounted cable tower. And the story was our first studio was a room in a church. And so in order to sort of make it work, every Sunday we had to tear down our gym and give it to the church for Sunday services. And then every Monday we rebuilt our studio.
No kidding.
So you couldn't put like a proper weight rack or whatever into this 500 square foot room. And so I had to get creative. And I designed a wall mounted cable tower that was sailing lines and sailing pulleys and elastic bands. And so that was the first thing that we did at my bricks and mortar gym. And it was obviously kind of the predecessor to Mirror because it was wall mounted fitness equipment.
So you would take the, so let me read this back to you. You would take the things off of the wall.
We would leave them on the wall, but when we realized that we had this space and we wanted to make a gym there, we couldn't do things like, traditional gym machines that sat in the middle of the floor because there'd be no way to move them every week. So we needed something that hugged the walls. And that's why we came up with this idea of a wall-mounted cable tower, because it allowed us to maximize the number of people we could fit into 500 square feet without having to move large equipment every week.
500 square feet's not that big.
No, it was 14 people in a class.
14 people?
Yeah.
And then how many classes were you running a day?
Probably 7 or 8.
That's good.
Yeah.
And they were full?
Always full, yeah. Studio 1 paid for Studio 2, paid for Studio 3.
No kidding.
It just kind of, bootstrapped its way up.
And before doing fitness studios, what were you doing?
Yeah, so I started teaching fitness classes while I was dancing, sort of as a side gig, a way to make money while I was dancing. But then when I retired, I opened my first gym. So my first real job was opening a studio. So I've never had a traditional desk job.
Evangeline, my fiance, is going to listen to this at some point when it comes out and be inspired, I suspect, because every time we walk around San Francisco, she's looking at the open, vacant spaces.
Yeah, exactly.
And thinking, this is where I could put my first studio.
That's how I found my space. I was walking up and down the Upper East Side because I couldn't afford anything that was properly available. And there was a Russian Orthodox church letting out, and I was a Russian literature major. So I started talking to them and was trying to practice my Russian. And they were like, well, we have this room. It's 500 square feet. It's $1,000, but the catch is we need it on Sundays for church. And I was sold. I can afford it with my savings. And that was how my first gym was built.
With your savings from dancing? From dancing.
Yeah, I'd saved about 15 grand I started dancing when I was a 7-year-old, and I had saved money over the years, until I was in my 20s.
And what was the dance? What is it? True? Is it dance group? What do we? What do we call a group of ballerinas?
I was in a company, New York City Ballet. Yeah.
That's legit.
It's legit. That is true.
That's about as good as it gets.
Yeah, it's a great company.
And then why'd you leave?
I went to Harvard, so I went to college and sort of kept dancing on the side while I was in college, and then I went back to dancing professionally when I graduated college. So I've always sort of juggled multiple things.
And I think when I was learning about you, one of the questions that I asked myself is, why didn't you start a ballerina studio?
Yeah.
That seemed more logical to me.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. For years as a dancer, you get taught a lot of sort of myths, I would say, about how the body works. Don't lift heavy weights, you'll get bulky and ugly. Don't do this kind of exercise because it will make you less flexible. And so when I retired from dancing, I needed to figure out myself how to work out, what was true, what was fact versus fiction. And so what I thought was, who makes the most money in fitness? And it was people who worked with professional athletes. And so I went out and started talking to people who train football players and baseball players and hockey players about how they train their athletes. And it made a lot of sense to me. And so I sort of took that knowledge and kind of adapted it for myself and for the average man or woman who wanted to stay in shape. And it involved basically interval training, what your fiance does. A lot of weights, very functional squats, push-ups, pull-ups, things like that. But I hadn't had an exposure to that as a dancer. And so it was about sort of reteaching myself how to exercise. And that's how my first business was built.
What a story. How many studios did you have?
We had 4 ultimately. We had 3 in Manhattan and then sort of a pop-up studio.
And did you think that was going to be the end-all be-all while you were doing the studios? After the first one started working and then you built a second one, in the back of your mind, were you I'm going to build a fitness studio conglomerate?
It was sort of like
a Barry's.
Yeah, it kind of taught me about unit economics. I sort of realized through the process, oh, wait, I can only fit this number of people into a room. And, oh, wait, people only work out early morning and in the evenings after work. Or people are only willing to pay really this much for a class. And so you start to realize the limitations of bricks and mortar. And so I think at the time I thought I was going to keep expanding, but then I realized there was just fundamentally a ceiling to the business that could be built there. And that's why I started to think about moving into the home.
Moving into the home as in Mirror?
As in Mirror.
How long were you building Mirror until you sold it?
We launched in September of 2018 and we sold it in basically March of 2020, early 2020. So a little less than 2 years.
And Did you, like, obviously hindsight's 2020, but like, shoot me straight. Did you know when you were selling Mirror that you may have perfectly top ticked exactly when the right time to sell that business was?
I think I didn't because I sold it like a week before COVID hit.
Oh, it was right before COVID.
Yeah.
So you didn't even get, so you think if you had waited
No.
like 3 months.
Yeah, no, we sold it. Literally, we came back from the trip to Vancouver where we sort of signed our term sheet. And a few days later, we evacuated our new office. So,
And were you like in the back of your mind thinking, are you kidding?
no, I mean, I think, it was never really about that. It was really about the opportunity to realize the vision of Mirror and feeling like this was just a once in a lifetime kind of partnership. Just the alignment of the brands and the audience and the incredible retail footprint. It just felt like, we weren't for sale. We were growing super fast and had sort of so much ahead of us, but just felt like this kind of unique opportunity to really bring Mirror to the world. And so that was really all we were thinking about at that moment. And then how to run a business through COVID, which was very challenging.
And can you maybe, for folks that don't know, like just remind us how Mirror works?
Yeah. So Mirror was a full-length mirror. When off, it looked like a regular, beautiful piece of home decor. And then when it was on, you could see yourself reflected, a live instructor teaching you, and then all of your metrics. So it connected to smart weights, and there was an embedded camera, and it could give you feedback on your form. So you could do one-on-one personal training or group classes with people from all around the country.
So you build 4 of the studios. Let me just make sure I'm keeping track of this.
Yeah.
You build 4 of the studios. You leave the church as the first studio.
Yeah.
You go to the next 3. Then you realize that there is an opportunity to do what you're doing, but in the home.
Yep.
Am I right so far?
And also, my personal need, I mean, it always is honestly the same for me. I hit a personal problem. I can't figure out the solution, and then I build something new. So for me, at that point, I was newly pregnant with my son. The group class model wasn't really working. Like I couldn't work out in a class with other people. The timing wasn't working out. I was increasingly busy. And so the home became necessary for me, but all the home options sucked basically. So I, again, was sort of just building for myself. I was trying to figure out how to take the studio experience and bring it in home for at a level that made sense for me.
Yeah. We invest at KP in hardware and software businesses together. They're extremely hard. They're really hard.
That's why they're so good.
They're really hard. And they're really hard for people that have been building hardware for their entire life.
Yeah. I have a theory on that.
Please.
My theory. My theory is that most of the time, people who tackle hardware are incredible engineers. And I think when you are an incredible engineer, there's a temptation to do more and build more because you can. Whereas for me, I'm not technical. I can't build anything myself. And so I've always been really, really disciplined about doing less and staying focused on the customer. So, for Mirror, there was a single napkin with a few bullets about what the product had to accomplish. And then we just constantly came back to that vision over and over again and hacked away things that were unessential. So I think that's the first thing, is not being technical has enabled me to build things more quickly with less error. And I think also, I tend to focus on commodity hardware and then building incredible software experiences on top of commodity hardware. So sort of de-risking the hardware execution, but building really, really interesting experiences and IP in the software layer, which is what we did at Mirror. So I think those things can make hardware like the best businesses in the world, which I think they are.
After the 4th studio, how'd you close down the studios and then started Mirror?
No.
Those 2 things are happening in parallel.
They're happening in parallel, yes.
And I'm really curious, how did you build the courage, for lack of a better word, to go, like, this isn't like a SaaS business. You know what I mean? Like, this is a very unique type of business. And I wonder if it was like, how long did it take you for the like tingle in your gut to like grow louder and louder to the point where you were convinced that you had to do this?
I think I've just always been the kind of person that if I personally have a problem and I think that I have a perspective on how to fix it, I just go. And then I have confidence that other people also share this problem and will find value in the solution. So maybe it's just naivete on my part, but I really felt like I understood this problem and I had a unique way of solving it. And I just wanted it personally. I just really, really wanted it to exist in the world and I wanted the world to have it. So I think I struggled for a little bit about how to execute it. So the mirror as the form factor took me a while to figure out. I was building apps or projectors or things like that.
It didn't start as a mirror.
It didn't start as a mirror. The mirror was really piece of luck, honestly. We did a survey of our clients of all of the changes we had done in the business over the year. And one of the things I added at the last minute was we had put dumb mirrors into all of our studios. Because when we first opened, we couldn't afford to put mirrors on all the walls. And so we had put mirrors on all the walls, and our clients said that was the best thing we had done, was give them mirrors so that they had feedback on their form. And I realized that as a former ballerina, I had kind of taken for granted the role that mirrors play in the average person's fitness experience, because I've always had them growing up. And that for me was the aha moment, was you could put all the things I was trying to build in an app into a mirror and have that interactive platform for at-home fitness. So that took me a little bit to figure out. But
like a year?
Yeah, I would say probably about a year. And then once we raised money in the fall of 2016, and it took us about 2 years to launch from there.
And so for the first year, you were basically bootstrapping it with your own 15 grand.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah, with money coming off the studios, yes.
Money coming off the studios.
Yeah.
And then did you have a team at that point?
No, we hired sort of contractors here and there. So,
When you say we hired, you hired.
I know I do say we.
But in this specific instance,
it's me.
In this specific instance, it's literally you.
It is literally me. I hired contractors. So, a blend of going on LinkedIn and searching through profiles and thinking that person seems to know the answer to what I need now. And I made one clear choice, though, which is I didn't want to build something that was very functional and ugly. I wanted to build something that really showed the experience of what it was going to be like to work out in front of a mirror, even if it was faked, even if it was smoke and mirrors. And so that's what we spent a lot of time doing, was building a prototype that was basically an animated explainer video behind a piece of one-way glass in this very hacky frame that really showed you what it was going to feel like, but was not functional. And then once we raised the seed round, then we started building a functional prototype. So did it backwards from what most people do when they do hardware. I spent time on the experience and the brand and making that come alive for seed investors. And then once we raised, we started building something functional, hiring a team and all of that.
Wow. What did you most underestimate about the process?
I think just the alignment of the timelines. So I think going into it that aligning hardware and software and content is going to be a challenge, but it's very, one timeline is ahead and then all of a sudden it's very behind. So really, I think underestimated the degree to which the timelines would not align the way you expected them to throughout. And that was really the core challenge.
Huh. And why are you laughing?
It's a hard one.
Why are you laughing?
There's so many things. I underestimated so many things.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like it was probably way harder than that.
Yeah, that's why it's fun. It's like, I think about it now, and I'm sure we'll talk about my next business, which is even more complicated than the first one. I don't know why I keep doing it to myself, but I think that's the fun of it. I think there's like a great Alan Kay quote that is, if you really care about software, you'll build your own hardware. And that's always what I feel is like, if you have a vision for an experience that you have in your mind, it's very challenging to do that without controlling the full stack. So I always just naturally end up wanting to build the hardware and the software and really control the end-to-end experience, because I kind of see something in my mind and I know to get there, I want to build the whole thing.
Wow. And during that year, when you're trying to figure out the form factor, are others around you? Like, what was the feedback from the outside world to you basically being in the idea maze, trying to find product market fit?
Not positive. I think when you show people things that are like ugly and hacky and new, the feedback is not often positive. And in this case, people didn't get it at all. I tried to do some early customer insights studies and research, because business school friends told me I should, and no one liked it, and everyone thought it was silly. And I tried to do some ugly mock-ups, and no one liked it. And I just listened to my gut and thought, no, there's definitely something here. And once it's, taken shape, people are going to get it and they're going to want it.
So you would do the customer insight survey before you really done anything.
Yeah.
Everybody said it's a dumb idea.
Yeah.
Then you create mock-ups because you're like, well, the customer survey is like, they didn't really get it. They didn't really understand.
Let me show them something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they said that sucked too.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you were like, oh no, they still don't get it.
I was like, no more surveys.
No more surveys, no more mock-ups.
No more mock-ups.
I have to actually show them something physical.
Yeah. And I always sort of knew like so much insight work is, I like collecting information. I like looking at data. I like talking to customers. I like gathering as much as I can. But ultimately, it's like your gut and your instinct, and you're building for yourself. And you have to have confidence of when to listen and when to tune things out. And at that point, I just felt confident that I needed to tune it out, that we were just too early for people to really give thoughtful input, but that we were going to get there.
And did you put like a timeline on yourself of like, all right, if I can't figure this out in X amount of time? Like, were you contingency planning at this point?
No, I mean, I had a profitable business. I knew I could do something bigger and better, and I wanted it for myself. But there was no real expiration for me. I had a day job, so I just was going to keep going until I figured it out.
What do you mean you knew you could do something bigger and better?
I just knew that I could do something bigger and better than the studios.
Why?
I think because I felt like I had built a really great product at the studios. We'd built a wonderful fitness methodology with very happy customers, but the business was not at the scale that I felt I was capable of. I don't know. I felt like I could reach more people and have more impact than what I was in my 4 studios.
And did that confidence grow over time? Like before Studio 1, did you feel like that? Or did it take like maybe did you keep re-underwriting what your potential was as you would see more signals of success?
Yeah, totally. I mean, confidence is just waking up each day, setting a high bar for yourself, accomplishing it, and then trying something harder. I think every time something went well or I failed at something, I learned something and then I kept going. So it's funny for me always to talk about this because it sounds so crazy in retrospect. But at the time, it was just sort of waking up each day and thinking, okay, today I'm going to open a studio. Okay, today I'm going to design a piece of custom exercise equipment. Okay, today I'm going to launch a tech product. And just each challenge bred more confidence.
It's pretty amazing.
It sounds silly saying it now, but
it does.
That's how it is. Yeah.
I mean, that's like, isn't that most entrepreneurs? Like, isn't that most people that do? Like, isn't kind of the whole deal of this thing is that everybody on the outside thinks you're crazy, and you basically need to have some unwavering and at times nuts confidence in yourself?
Yeah. I mean, at the time, it's so funny because now I think on the East Coast, at least, a lot more people that I know are working at startups or founding companies. But this was, 2016 or 2010 when I launched my physical studios. No one I knew was working in tech or launching their own business. Everyone was working in banking or consulting out of Harvard at that point. And so I was very weird. People thought what I was doing was very strange. But it didn't occur to me that I would ever do anything else. It was like what I was really built to do was to see problems and try to build solutions for them. But yeah, I think that is what it is to be a founder.
Why do you think you were built for it?
I don't know. I feel most like myself when I'm building things. It's just the perfect blend of creativity and problem solving and grit for me as a person.
But do you think it's nature or nurture? Like, you think you were born this way?
I think so. I think certainly spending my youth as a ballerina was very formative in terms of how I operate. As a dancer, you don't win or lose like traditional sports. You wake up every single day and you try to be a little bit better than the day before. It's not a lot of positive reinforcement. There's a lot of criticism, but you have to be internally very focused disciplined and resilient, which is very much what it is to be a founder. So I think that early training was definitely pivotal for me. But it's always come from me. People always ask, did your parents push you to do this or that? Or were you trying to emulate this person or that person? And it's always just been sort of who I am.
And then when you left the
company, yeah.
Company. Yeah. Who's a troupe?
Circus? I don't know.
Is that true? I thought there's like dance troupes.
Maybe, yeah. Sure.
I made that up?
No, I like it.
Okay. My fiance's also going to kill me for this because she was she was a dancer.
Company is usually...
She's going to kill me for this. She's going to be like, you sounded really dumb that day.
Sorry, troupe.
Yeah.
I think of clowns when I hear troupe. I don't know.
I swear, I'm going to look this up after. Okay. I swear there's a troupe somewhere. You would know better than me.
Yeah.
First of all, does that type of dance exist at Harvard? Like, is there a reason that you chose Harvard given what you were doing?
No, the reason I chose Harvard was there's very few strong academic institutions that have strong ballet companies that are nearby. So for me, the proximity of Boston Ballet, where I tried to juggle dancing at Boston Ballet while going to Harvard early days, was the reason why Harvard was a particularly good fit for me. And I just liked it. I just liked the people there. I thought they were really just interesting and diverse.
And did you feel like you fit in or fit out at Harvard?
A little bit of both. I got my job at New York City Ballet when I was just 16 years old. So I had already been working for 2 years as an adult by the time I went to college, when many of my peers were, leaving home for the first time and finally on their own. So I felt a little bit out of step with some of my peers. But I thought there was an incredibly interesting group of people, all very passionate about something. And that was what resonated for me.
Yeah. And when you were 16...
I know I'm in Stanford territory, so I'm sorry.
That's right.
It didn't occur to me to come to California.
Don't worry. I none of the Ivy Leagues even come close to me anyway. So it doesn't... Yeah, I hold... I don't hold a candle to any of them. Yeah. When you were 16 and you were doing the dance... Doing dance.
Mm-hmm.
Doing dance. I don't know.
Dancing.
Did you leave home?
Most of my peers were living away from home. So I danced at the School of American Ballet, which is the school attached to New York City Ballet. And most of the students come from all over the world and live in dormitories and dance away from their parents. I just happened to be from New York. So I was able to stay at home while I was dancing.
And they pay you?
They pay you, yes.
Like you're getting paid a decent wage at 16 years old?
I was getting paid. Yes.
Okay.
This is not like, MBA salaries, but yes.
And then at that point, was the goal and ambition to do this forever?
I just always loved both. I always loved school. I always loved learning, and I always loved dancing. And I tried to juggle both as long as I
But did you think you were going to be a pro dancer at some point? I mean, I guess you were a pro dancer. Did you think you were going to stay a pro?
I don't know. I think I kept taking it one day at a time. So I took my dancing job in New York City Ballet. I deferred Harvard. And then when I couldn't defer anymore, I got a job dancing at Boston Ballet so I could go to Harvard. I was always trying to kind of juggle both and not have to decide. And then ultimately it just became too challenging and I committed to going to school full time.
And then now I'm just purely so fascinated. What is the schedule for that type of dance? Like, what did that look like at 14, 15, 16 years old?
Yeah. So you would basically, go to school for an hour or two, go to dance for a few hours, go back to school for an hour or two, then go to dance all night. And then the weekend would be sort of divided between dancing all day and doing tutoring all weekend to sort of catch up on what you'd missed. So pretty much continuously 10 to 10, you're in school or dancing.
And then how did you do that when you were at Harvard?
So Harvard, most of you're not in class as much. Mm-hmm. So you're in class only a few hours a week. There's a lot of videotaped lectures, or you'd have friends take notes for you and just try to juggle it. It only lasted for about 9 months, so it didn't last very long, but I tried. I stopped dancing at Boston Ballet and committed fully to going to school.
Why?
I couldn't do both well, and I just don't like doing things badly. So I reached the point where I had to make a choice, and I had already effectively enrolled in school and made that choice. So I needed to give it my all.
Did it break your heart?
Yeah, it did break my heart. Being a dancer was my identity. It was who I was. Everything from how I looked to how I felt to my body to how I defined myself. And suddenly one day I woke up and I wasn't that anymore. So not knowing who you are at, 18, 19 years old is quite hard.
Did you think about going back to dance? Do you still think about?
Well, I did after college. I tried to, I went back for my early 20s. I went back to dancing professionally, which is
Right.
how I got involved in teaching fitness.
Right.
And then I think I just kind of realized at that point that I had evolved and being a professional dancer wasn't really the right fit for me anymore. But it took me a little bit to figure out that being an entrepreneur really was the best essence of who I am. So, yeah, it's definitely very hard to do something from the time you're 3 years old and then at 19 to not do it anymore.
And then how do you physically train for that type of dance? Like what types of muscles? Like what? Like I'm so curious now. Like where is it demanding physically?
Well, I mean, it's just incredible strength
Like
and
core?
flexibility combined.
Yeah.
You're very, very hyper mobile, and then you have to control that flexibility. And then you've got to do that set to music while being also artistically beautiful, while also dancing with a larger group of people together. So it's a lot of things, a lot of athleticism and artistry combined
Huh.
on your toes, suspending your entire body weight on your toes.
Wow.
Yeah. My feet don't look great. So
Really?
luckily podcasts don't record your feet.
Really cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
And then did you have friends at Harvard that were also doing dance with you? Or was that were those separate lives?
No, those were separate lives. I had one or two friends who had danced professionally before coming to college who understood what I was going through. But I was the only one who was really trying to juggle both actively for a little bit there. It's a pretty unusual experience. Most dancers, become professionals when they're 16, 17, 18 and maybe graduate high school, but don't generally go to college. It's pretty unusual.
Why is that? Because it's just so demanding on your time?
Yeah, your dance career is very short. You dance your 20s, maybe into your mid 30s. So most people just go straight into a dance company in their late teens and then retire in their mid to late 30s and go into teaching dance or teaching fitness or working for a ballet company.
Like it seems like if you have your heart set on something, you just tend to figure it out and do it. In one point in your life, maybe that was dance. Then at a second point in your life, it became studios. Then at a third point in your life, it became Mirror. Now it's become a new company. Like, how do I ask this? Like, how do you choose the right quest if you have so much self-belief that what you will put your mind to will ultimately play out, but it's going to be like a time suck?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you choose the right quest?
I think you hit a personal problem that really pisses you off and you just keep thinking about it. And it has to sort of resonate with what your values are as a person at that point in your life. So, when I was building studios or building Mirror, I was figuring out it was about me. It was about my identity, my body, learning how to work out and feel good in my body again post ballet. That was my 20s and my 30s. Now with Board, my new company, it's very much about my family, my relationships. I've had a little bit of professional success and now trying to really spend time with people I love in a way that feels good and meaningful. And so that's what's important to me now. And I'm building around that need.
Super cool. Before I get to Board, so the numbers are out there. You sold the business for 500 mil. You were the solo founder, made a great amount of money. Did you stay at Lulu?
I stayed at Lulu for a year.
Okay, for a year. Why are you laughing?
No, not at all.
Okay. So you stayed at Lulu for a year. Probably like had something in your contract to stay for a while, make sure the businesses get integrated.
Yeah.
You probably never expected to make that much money.
No.
Is that fair?
Yes, absolutely.
How did it feel? Honestly, when it hit your bank account, when you signed the deal.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
Surreal, honestly. I think, I mean, it sounds crazy to say like money has never really been a motivator for me, but um, that's like never really what I envision when I think about success. I always envision, you know, impact on the world, impact on my team, impact on my customers. But certainly it's a surreal moment when you sort of have a lot of money and you've never thought about that before. So yeah, surreal.
Did you do anything with it that you've always wanted to do? You don't have to answer if you
I
feel
know.
it.
I'm thinking. No,
Money's a very taboo topic.
no, I'm not at all. You know, it's so funny. The first thing I did after I told my team was I actually left my apartment and went to the NYU bookstore down the block and I bought like a bunch of textbooks, which sounds really nerdy, but I felt like I'd spent, so long really just like thinking about fitness and I just like wanted to be excited about learning something new. I just wanted to just clear my mind of fitness and think about something new. And I went to the bookstore and just like bought a bunch of books about stuff that looked cool. And that's how I spent like the next month was just like getting excited again about learning and discovering new things. So that was the first thing I did with my money was a big NYU textbook haul.
Are you kidding?
No, it's so
The day of?
I did. I have a picture of me,
Come
in
on.
front of my pile of textbooks looking very excited. And now, probably before that, I would have gone and looked at the cost of all those textbooks and thought to myself, okay, it's kind of crazy. But I just went in and like did a wide sweep across, art history and healthcare and all these topics.
The day of.
I turned off my Zoom and I walked outside and was like, I just want to read a good book and just use my brain in a fresh way and get excited about learning.
How big was the team at that point?
I think we were about 200 when I left. Maybe a little less than that.
So you tell everybody.
Yeah.
Shock, awe, wow, excitement.
Yeah. Shock.
Sadness?
Shock and sadness for everyone.
They enjoyed what they were building.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're in person? It was over Zoom?
This was when I was leaving. Yeah. So when I was leaving, when we told them that we were selling, people were surprised but excited. And then when I told them over Zoom that I was leaving, I think people were sad and I was sad. So, and
leaving
people were
Lulu.
surprised. I was leaving Lulu. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So after the year.
Yes.
And that year was the COVID year.
That was, no, that was the end of 2021. So I left at the end of 21.
Okay. Okay. But you've been doing COVID basically.
We'd been doing COVID. We were deep in COVID.
Through that year.
Exactly, yeah.
And the business was probably like tripled overnight.
Yeah, it had gone crazy.
Nuts, right?
Nuts, yeah.
So did you regret it? Like, let me just ask you this. I'll ask you a different way. If you had just seen your life's work, basically you sold it, and then a month later, you probably saw as much demand in that month as you had seen in the last years of that company. That's my guess. You could tell me if I'm wrong.
We'd only been in business for 18 months.
Right, okay. So probably more in the next month or two than all of those 18 months.
We had a good...
It was an amazing
2020, yes.
Okay, amazing, right? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Like everybody comes home, everyone's trying to figure out what to do for fitness. Of course.
Yeah.
All the celebrities are posting about it at this point.
That predates COVID, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't say this, so I will. You're stuck at a big company. You are a independent thinker. Lulu's a big company, not like a tech company either. And so I guarantee there was like a lot of cultural things that you had to navigate. Like I've gone from small company into big company. I also am I have a deference for authority. And it didn't go well for that long. Like there was only so long that I could last in that type of environment because I just couldn't get things done. That was like the thing that mostly frustrated me.
Yeah.
And my view, not yours, was like big companies are so far away from a meritocracy. And like in a startup, like it's just the true essence of earning it. And people get rewarded for earning things. And it's just not that way at a big company. And my observations are always that people that come from a world that is about meritocracy and about autonomy and reaping the rewards of being a driver, not a passenger, when they go into a big company like this, start to go, it just like, it irks every bone in their body because it's like so counter to their values. Is that?
It was not a fit for me.
It wasn't a fit for you.
No.
Were you a little bit salty that maybe if you had waited 3 months, the business is worth triple?
No, honestly. I feel like I made the right decision with the information that I had at the time. It was the right decision for the team. It was the right decision for our customer. It was the right decision for our investors, and for the future success of the business. So I've never looked back and thought, what if 3 months? What if 6 months? Was it sad to leave and then watch the company basically go to zero? I mean, it was sold to Peloton and doesn't exist anymore. Of course, absolutely. I was sad for watching something we had built not be enduring. Do I feel like I have a bit of a chip on my shoulder because I thought we built something great and it doesn't endure? Absolutely. But I've never second guessed that decision at the time. Like, we made the decision. It was the right decision with the information we had.
Do you think the company died as soon as you left?
That's awfully arrogant.
But like,
Uh,
do you believe that?
uh,
Can I maybe reframe it? Actually, I won't reframe it. Let me clarify the question.
sure.
Like, you were the solo founder of this company. You were probably fighting battles that only you could fight internally inside of Lululemon. And I think when probably you stopped fight, I have no idea. So you tell me. But when probably you couldn't fight that fight anymore, nobody else really had the moral authority in many ways to be able to fight on your behalf.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. I'm not like trying to be salacious or
No,
anything.
no,
I am
no.
very curious.
No, I mean, I think it's a really challenging marriage between a very new, fast-growing tech company and a very mature retail company. And there was incredible overlap of brand values and customer base and really good people on both sides, but fundamentally just two very different companies that were not only learning in real time about how the other operated. As you said, I had never had a job. My first boss was the CEO of Lululemon, but also doing that through a global pandemic where we were navigating things that neither side had ever navigated before. So it was just a very hard situation and just definitely not a fit for me personally. So.
Can I keep asking about this or no?
Sure.
I can stop if you want.
No.
I can stop.
I'm happy to add anything. Anything useful I can add.
Immediately, did the distribution fire hose turn on with Lulu and Mirror went into all retail locations?
Yes. I mean, it was phased, but we were. I'm trying to think how many stores ultimately we were in. I think we were in probably 100 something right away, and then 300 something ultimately across North America, with some pop-up appearances in Europe.
And would the tension, let me just give you an example of where I think tension could be, and then you tell me like yes or no.
Sure.
Like, for example, where they put it in the store, and then how they marketed where they put it and what you thought about the brand relative to their brand. They probably had a particular way that they thought about Lululemon, and you had a very particular way about how you thought about Mirror, and even small micro decisions about how you would place something in the store and educate customers about it. Would that be like a small example of something that would eat you alive?
I mean, the Lululemon retail stores and team are the heart of that business. I mean, they are incredible, passionate people who love their products, but it's a very different education process to sell someone who is coming into a store to buy a pair of pants on a $1,500 piece of technology. So I don't know if any of us had a clear answer on how to do that, but it was definitely very challenging to try to get a team used to educating customers on clothing, to educate on a piece of electronics, which is a much more involved, hands-on sales process, and to get that customer to be in that mindset. Just because you love to work out doesn't mean when you walk into a store to buy pants, you want to sit and watch a demo for a technology object. So it was interesting and very challenging, not even just the placement and all of that, but sort of how do you think about training a team to sell a very different kind of product to their customer.
Was it all online distribution at that point until Lulu bought it?
We had done a few stores. So we had New York, Stanford Mall, and the Grove, LA prior to that.
And
but very short term.
Is there like a counterfactual that maybe you could have just built more stores? Like, I don't know, like, is there a way where maybe that's impossible? Like, you can't get acquired by Lululemon and then be like, all right, we're going to have a mirror store like next to Lulu. I can't imagine that would work, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely, there's lots of counterpoints of brands that are really maintained as separate entities with their own, stores and their own presences and really sold as independent brands. That was not the choice that was made here. We were integrated into the stores and we closed down our stores.
And was that decision already made as the acquisition was happening, or did that get made post-acquisition?
That was made prior to the acquisition.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were cool with it?
Yeah, I mean, our stores were new at that point. I think the oldest store at that point was, I don't know, maybe 9 or 12 months. So.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Lululemon is best in class at operating retail stores. So, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge to be a shop and shop. You're a tech product shop and shop in a retail store. It's different.
And then Lulu sold it to Peloton?
Yes.
For like parts?
I wasn't present when that deal happened, but they stopped selling the hardware product. Existing Mirror owners now receive Peloton content instead of Mirror content.
But they still have that physical form factor.
The existing Mirror user base continues to operate with Peloton content streamed to Mirror devices.
And they don't sell that physical form factor no longer exists.
They don't sell any more hardware, no. So Peloton content is now streamed to Mirror devices.
Does that bum you out?
That bums me out. Not because it's Peloton. Peloton's an incredible company, but the content is not recorded the same way. It's taking content that was made for a landscape bike tablet and trying to put it on a portrait-oriented Mirror device. So the visual experience of the Mirror now is no longer exists. You can't see yourself and the content the same way.
I know you're working on something else.
Yeah.
But like I did just see a story about how there's rumors that Travis Kalanick is coming back to Uber to do self-driving.
Oh gosh. Amazing.
Is there an opportunity for you to have your
No, I'm honestly so excited about what we have built at Board, and I think it's just a much bigger opportunity.
Can you talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Board is the first ever face-to-face game console that takes the best of board games and the best of video games and puts them together into an entirely new platform. So we basically spent 2 years.
Is it here? I've heard it's here.
It is.
Can I grab? Well, I'll grab it in a second.
Yeah. So we spent 2 years training a 24-inch touchscreen to do what no other touchscreen can do, which is recognize physical pieces. So our technology allows our board to know what the piece is, where it is on the board, and what it's doing in real time. So it creates an entirely new way of playing games together around this shared device. So a new, entirely new platform.
Come on. And how long have you been working on this for?
It's been about 2 years now.
Are you nervous?
I am nervous. I'm excited. We haven't really shown the device to many people. So it's exciting to put all this work into something and then finally get to share it.
Have you raised money?
We have. We raised a seed round from folks that were previously invested in Mirror.
And tell me about the inspiration for this.
So, when I started Mirror, I was pregnant with my first child. And then, fast forward, I now have 5 kids. So I've got 2 kids and 3 stepkids that range from 2 to 21. And we were really struggling to find ways for everyone to connect. And for me, like games, be it board games or video games, have always been the way that I've come together with friends and family. And it's really challenging to do today because most of family time is like you on a phone or an iPad in front of a movie. And so the thinking was like, can you take the feel and the togetherness of board games and mix it with the interactive magic of video games and create a really new way to play? And so did the same thing I did with Mirror, tried to build sort of like a hacky prototype using physical pieces on an Android tablet, realized it was cool and it was fun, but we had to figure out a way to actually build the technology because traditional tablets don't recognize more than 10 fingers and they don't recognize physical pieces. So we had to build an entirely new custom touch stack to make that happen.
Tell me, what is this?
So that is a physical game piece. So we basically have built, our pieces don't have any electronics or sensors in them, but they do have a special unique pattern on the base that's made with capacitive material that allows the board to recognize what the object is, where it is, and what orientation it's at in real time. And so we have basically a custom software stack that takes the raw data coming out of the touch sensor and then uses embedded AI on the device to translate what the piece is and what it's doing. And then we feed that to our SDK so developers can build games in Unity or on Unreal that take advantage of this physical piece meets digital world.
Why are there seemingly two sides to this piece?
That piece on the side that has the signifier goes down.
This side?
Yep.
Like this. This
one. I'm gonna mess you up. Yeah, this one is the side that's read by the board.
Okay.
The top side.
Oh, cool.
So that's actually for a game that's sort of a bit of a take on Lemmings. It's like a reverse platformer. You have these little creatures that are moving through the world, and you have to use physical pieces like stairs, a cannon, blocks to get them through the world.
So each of these bags that have the pieces in them correspond to different games.
A specific game, exactly.
And then, just like, if you want to play chess, like, this is certainly not designed to take a refactoring of an old game into a digital format. This is not what that's meant to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the sort of one of the core product decisions for us was, do we sort of port over existing games onto this large multiplayer screen, or do we create new native experiences? And we felt like we're completely changing how games are played. And so it made sense to make new and native games.
So it comes with you?
It comes with me. I will consider leaving it with you, depending on your desired use case of it.
Well, aren't the use cases defined? Aren't I relatively constrained by the games that you have on there that I'm going to play?
That's true. Yeah, we have so you got 12 games that come with it at launch, and then we're building a developer ecosystem. So the App Store will launch next year, and our goal is to get developers to build new experiences on board, and then over time to give consumers tools to build themselves. So first off device, and then able to load games on board, and then eventually on device to build their own game experience.
Where are you selling it?
We're selling it at board.fun, our website. And then for holiday, we also have a partnership with Camp, and we're selling in their retail stores across the US.
And you're not doing it on Amazon or anything?
No, not for launch.
Why not? Maybe they won't pick it up. You tell me. But like, why not go to a retailer and use their distribution channels?
Yeah, I mean, I think you certainly reach a point in your life cycle where going to big box makes sense. But early days, having a direct relationship with your customer and getting those learnings really quickly is very valuable. So that was our playbook at Mirror that we found very valuable, is we sold D2C and then select retail pop-up, and we learned a lot.
And so since this is going to be launched tomorrow, this episode won't be out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it'll be launched when everybody hears this.
Yes.
What's your launch strategy? Who's going to pick it up? Like, are you like, I imagine being a second-time founder, having sold a company already, like you have interesting ways to do cool launches. What is it going to look like?
Yeah, so we're launching again on the main stage at TechCrunch Disrupt, which is really exciting. That's where we launched Board 7 years ago. So there's
Mirror.
Mirror.
Yeah.
I get them confused now, which we launched Mirror in 2018.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
So running it back there, I think one of the core learnings from Mirror was just the importance of making your customer your advocate and building that into the product experience. And one of the really cool things about board games or multiplayer games is that for every game you sell, you tend to sell 1.5 to 2 just through play. And so we've really thought about that early days. And so we're doing a lot of game night experiences where we're inviting groups of people together to play, or we're loaning out boards to groups and letting people be our advocates early days. So we think that will be really powerful here.
How old are your kids?
I go 2, almost 9, 17, 19, 21 stepkids.
Have they played it?
We play it every day. I mean, that's one of the core things for me is like we would try to play board games and we have to play something that the littlest could play, which was boring for everyone else. Or we'd try to play video games and the teens would like smoke us because they've just logged so many hours on modern controllers and there's like too much hand-eye coordination. And so every game here, because the piece is the controller, it's really intuitive. You put the stairs down, the character walks. You put the knife down, it cuts the fruit. So it's really easy for people of various ages just to jump in right away and play, but they all scale up. So my littlest one knows how to play blocks because she can put down Legos, but she doesn't understand the complex spatial strategies necessary to really do well in Strata. But it allows everyone to be at the table. You know, everyone can be a gamer.
What was the hardest thing about building it?
Finding the fun. I mean, you take hardware, software, and then games. That entertainment layer of just finding the fun is totally different than creating fitness content, which is more formulaic, honestly. And then making 49 original game pieces, all of which are tracked by the device. So it's a lot.
The pieces are tracked by the device, which correspond to the game, which
Correct.
are purpose-built for the game that you made up from your imaginations.
All original, yeah.
With a form factor that I've never seen before. So I'm assuming you invented this version of a form factor.
Yep.
Does it have to be plugged in?
It has to be plugged in.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could do an embedded battery pack or a plug-in battery pack.
This is going to be at home.
Yeah. I think the feeling was, you know, that can be a V2 if people want to have embedded battery. Or we could do larger screen sizes or smaller screen sizes. But this
$500?
Is our V1. Mm-hmm.
That seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about, you know, an iPad is north of $1,000 and it's a personal device. This is a shared device for your whole household to find value.
It's got to be expensive for you to make all of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things we do have pretty strong competitive advantage in is we understand screen technology and display technology. So we were able to manufacture the hardware efficiently from V1 because we have a lot of learnings from Mir about how to make display products. And also, you know, I learned recently a Nintendo phrase, which is withered technology with lateral thinking, which I love, which is what we're doing here. This is really commodity hardware. This is mature, affordable touchscreen technology, but so much innovation at the software layer. So we're able to, you know, to be cost efficient on the core device.
Have you met Bing at KP? Do you know Bing?
Seth next door, who leads games for us, knows Bing
from Zynga.
He sold his company to Blizzard. He used to run World of Warcraft, so he knows Bing from those days.
There you go.
Yeah, Bing
would be all over this.
Oh, we should show it to him.
You should definitely chat with Bing. Yeah. Happy to connect you.
Yeah, I love it.
He's a legend. He's the best.
I know. I've heard.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He took me down to Bobby Kodak's house.
Oh, cool.
For Activision, and then he's taking me down to LA next week with Spiegel. With Evan Spiegel.
Yeah, love.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
Bing is the guy.
Bing's the guy.
Yeah. This is amazing. What were the things across all the things that we just talked about? The pieces, the software, the integration, the hardware.
Yeah. That
was like most difficult to actually solve for. The games.
Yeah, finding the fun in the games is incredibly challenging, and just, I mean, every single piece needs to be trained to operate in real time with no latency. So the amount of training hours and modeling work and all of the incredible sort of IP that goes into making every single piece work perfectly in real time for gameplay is just a lot.
So like to make sure that when this stair goes down, the system immediately knows that it's a stair.
It's a stair. It's going down. When the person picks it up and moves it over there, that the stair has moved, that the cannon has gone down, the blue gets shot right out of it.
And how are you training that?
These are all proprietary models that the team has built. So we're really lucky that our our HCI team is a group of guys that had worked together before on self-driving cars and scooters. They had built a startup that they sold, and then they came over as a full team. So they had a lot of experience working together with sort of similar touch recognition
And so
problems.
you built your own model to train all of these individual pieces
Correct.
across the games.
Yeah.
You have to.
Have to.
There's no other way.
Yeah. Proprietary models, training
And
pipelines.
right now, is this connected to Wi-Fi?
We only connect to Wi-Fi to download the games, and then we don't play on Wi-Fi.
So everything is local on the device.
Correct. Yeah. This wouldn't have been possible in 2018. It's only possible now because of how lightweight we can build on device, on a compact device.
Did you decide to start the company and then met the team that was doing all of this modeling work, or did those two things happen at the same time?
Yeah, we had built like hackier versions before I met Ryan, who's our CTO. So Ryan was I love my LinkedIn, was sort of like a LinkedIn to a LinkedIn kind of connection. And then he brought some of his guys with him as they rolled off their other company.
How many people are in the company now?
So we're very lean. I think we're probably 15 in-house, something like that, 15 or 20. And then we work with a lot of contractors and a lot of partner studios.
For the games, I imagine?
The games, yeah. So in-house, our games team is doing sort of game design and some in-house work. And then we partner with larger studios to sort of collaborate and execute against the vision. So a lot of people have touched it, a lot of great studios.
This is so cool.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad to hear it.
I so wasn't expecting this.
I think that's good. Hopefully in a positive way.
A lot of times I have second-time founders on here that have been quite successful. And my observation is that anytime you have sold your first company and it went really well, or you went public, there is a real burden that comes with that, which is that you're always worried about being cast in the shadow of your first success. And said another way, like, there is, from my observation, like a deep insecurity of like, was it me? Was it the market? Was it the timing? Did everything come together? It did, by the way. All those things were like N of one events that led to Mirror being sold in this case.
1,000%.
And thinking about all of those things having to come together again is, I think, like, honestly, why a lot of people don't do another company. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And for you to be doing another company that is so creative and unique is so impressive. And I think what I'm most impressed by is like, you are not worried about being cast in the shadow of your previous success.
I don't think that. I mean, maybe it's the ballerina in me, but it's always just like me versus myself. It's like my problem, my standards for myself, and just trying to build excellent things that can help as many people as possible. I always think sort of the score takes care of itself. Like, I don't really worry about the victory conditions. I just kind of stay focused on what I feel like needs to get built, and I try to execute in a way that makes myself proud. So I hope it works. I mean, I hope it makes lots of people happy and brings people together in a way that adds value and it really endures in a way that Mir didn't. But I'm not scared of failure. I don't know.
So like over the last couple of weeks, as you've gotten closer to launch,
Yeah.
have you not had more sleepless nights thinking like, what if nobody cares?
Oh, I'm thinking about all sorts of things, but not generally that.
What are you thinking about?
It's just a laundry list of things across the entire business.
Tell me.
I have just, the whiteboard on the wall of like things on fire by vertical. And then I just cycle through them in my mind from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, and trying to do my best to spend time on the stuff that really does matter. That's always the challenge for me. It's because if I want to execute well on everything, I have to decide when some things can be executed not as well, and it's okay. And that becomes hard in the final minutes to just let some things drop and say, it's good enough. We got to go. We got to launch.
And so you are completely detached from the outcome of what happens.
I mean, obviously, I hope it's a big success and everyone loves it, but I feel good that we've built something really cool and I love it. I mean, I use it every day with my family. My 2-year-old like goes to bed asking to play more board. So to me, that's like a success.
How many have you built? Like, how many do you have? Like, what if it goes crazy tomorrow?
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I think we're well equipped to scale pretty quickly for the holiday season. So if we sell 1 million, we'll be in trouble. If we sell tens of thousands, we'll be okay. Hundreds of thousands, we'll probably be okay. But it's definitely just going to be a tight timeline with holiday ship. That will be our biggest challenge, is getting things to people in time for the holidays.
And tomorrow at TechCrunch, how are you going to demo this?
So that's been the big debate. I think where we've landed is we're going to show it up on the big screen on video, and then we're going to have demo units set up in the expo hall so people can come and play it live.
Okay, but you'll have like you and your kid or something video playing on screen, playing board.
Yeah, we're going to have like our launch commercial playing up on the screen.
And then you're going to get up there and talk?
Yeah, I'm going to do a 3 or 4 minute little talk, and then we're going to do a Q&A and show the video, and then people hopefully will come to the expo hall and come play some games with us.
Wow.
Yeah. You got to come by.
I'm so, I was
come
just,
play.
I was actually just thinking,
Yeah.
if I have a flight to Dallas tomorrow at like 2:00, and I was like, I wonder if I could, that's really cool.
Yeah, well, if you come in the morning, we can pull back the curtain for you.
All right.
Play early.
All right. It's like the, this is so random. It's like the Steve Jobs, like, the movie where like the whole movie is set around his launches,
Yeah.
on stage.
My team was like, do you have your black turtleneck? I was like, no turtlenecks.
Just your green one.
Yeah,
Just your green one. Do you get nervous before you go on stage for something like this?
The bigger the audience, the better I am. That's what I'm used to. I'm used to dancing in front of 10,000 people. If I can't see your face and there's more people, I'm happier. If I could dance and not talk, I'd be even happier. But smaller, more intimate audiences makes me more. This makes me more nervous.
Really?
Than tomorrow. Yeah.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I'd much prefer big stage. I mean, that's what I've done since I was 7 years old. It's Lincoln Center, so I'm used to big audience.
Do you know who's going to pick it up?
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Hopefully lots of people.
This is so cool.
Yeah. I love it. I'm glad you're excited. That's energizing for tomorrow.
This is so cool. How did you pick the beige exterior?
Yeah, we had so many debates. I mean, ultimately where we landed is, so it's magnetized, so it comes off. So we're going to start selling frames, so you can put on different colors, different wood finishes. Ultimately, we wanted something as neutral as possible for the base frame, just so it could work in as many home environments as possible. And there's something about the wood finish that made it feel more like a piece of home decor, which is what we wanted.
And was it always obvious to you that it was going to lay flat on a table versus a mirror that lays against the wall?
Yes, always. Shared device to sit around, gather around.
And how many people can play at once, 2?
No, most of the games we play 4 to 6.
6. So
yeah.
Okay.
We felt it was important that everything is really scalable. So most of the content scales from 1 up to many. Most of them have multiple modes, so you can play competitive or cooperative. We really like cooperative games. So like we have a game, Chop Chop. You have the pieces there where you're all managing a busy kitchen, and you're using like your knife and your spoon and your spice grinder, and the tickets are coming in with different point values, and you've got to really communicate to build the dishes. So we think it's really fun to have that mix of player count, modes, and then duration. So like the arcades are a few minutes long, and a strata session is probably 45 minutes to an hour. So it can be a full game night or like a quick hit before dinner.
And these are labeled, the pieces are labeled corresponding to the game?
Yeah, so you get...
Does each game have a unique set of pieces?
Yeah, so we have so the device comes in its own box with its power cord, and then you have a separate piece box, and each game has its own storage bag that tells you what pieces are supposed to be in it. So most of the games have 1 to 5 pieces.
Are your kids out here?
My little one is here, and my older one is back in New York in school. You can't ditch 3rd grade. You can ditch preschool. So
is he going to come and watch Mom on stage tomorrow?
I think so. Yeah. I think if she's awake, she's got a pass. She's got a TechCrunch badge. So hopefully, we'll see. That's cool. It's definitely cool to have a kid in the audience for sure.
I'm like totally blown away.
Oh yay! I love it.
I'm like totally blown away. It's just so cool. I'm so stoked for you.
I'm hopeful. Fingers and toes crossed.
How much did you raise? Is that public?
We raised about 15 million.
Okay. And is this expensive was this expensive to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think the positive thing about building these types of games is these are not AAA games. You don't have super complex graphics and worlds. So these are, our games are tens of thousands to a few $100,000 to build. They're not multi-million-dollar games, which I think enables us to build this launch suite pretty efficiently. And then from here, we really are stoking a developer ecosystem. So, we have an SDK. We want people to reach out and start to build on board. So the next hits from here, probably won't be ours. They'll be someone else's.
Yeah, as long as your hardware is good enough, the
Yeah.
hope is that the developers will create hit games on your behalf.
Yeah, I think the amazing thing is of this first 12, we partnered with a bunch of studios and great studios with like award-winning games. And they were just really excited about the opportunity to like play with the technology. So we were able to work with, Chur Studio that helped us with Strata. They made Manifold Garden, this amazing indie game, because they wanted to build a physical digital experience. And so they took time out of their busy slate of game development to work with us because they liked the tech. And so I think hopefully there'll be lots of developers that feel that way. It's easy to build on board. So if you can build in Unity or you can build in Unreal, you can build on board. So it's not like you're learning VR or AR. Our SDK just makes it very easy to learn how to integrate pieces into experiences that you're already building on a traditional game engine. So there's much less of an on-ramp than there would be with, other technologies.
Are you hiring? It depends how this goes.
Yeah, we'll see. I think, right now we're focused on launching and raising our Series A, I think. And then I'm certainly there'll be some hiring from there.
And your Series A is all going to be timed. This is all coming together like
tomorrow.
You're building the plane as you fly it right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So once we go live tomorrow, our Series A tour begins.
That's why you don't want to leave this year, because you want to bring it to all of our frenemies up in.
We got some other friends to meet with the board.
All of our frenemies up and down the road over here. That's why.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. No, we would love to show it to Bing or anyone else here who wants to see it.
I will. I'll ping him on it.
Yeah.
For sure.
That'd be great.
He's gonna go. He's also the perfect
Yeah, I love it. We met someone who also was involved with like Skylanders or one of the Toys to Life, who was like, you got to talk to Bing. Like Bing always wanted physical digital.
So cool.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
When you hear the word grit, what do you think of?
Just running through walls. Just running through walls to make things happen.
Amazing. I'm so stoked for you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, well, we should show you. They're sitting sure. You want to play some games?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, let me go get them.
That's it for now. If you liked the episode, please leave us a review or go back into the archives where we've done more than 200 episodes with some fantastic folks. This podcast is a Kleiner Perkins production, and I'm Joubin. Thanks for listening.